bringing you the latest news from Friendship Athletics. This is the Tiger Fan Zone podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Good Wednesday night, and welcome into the High School Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score. I'm Randy Rosetta, and I am here to launch into the Tiger Fan Zone, as usual, to start Wednesday night. I'm joined by Friendship Special Teams Coordinator, Running Backs Coach. Want to make sure I get everything. Powerlifting Head Coach?
No, sir.
Assistant Coach. Cal Fullerton, which I'm a college baseball guy.
Yeah.
So your name is very easy for me to remember because that's one of the premier programs. How often do you hear that?
I've been called Cal State a couple of times.
Have you?
Yes,
well,
sir.
There's a lot worse things.
That's
I
right.
used to have a coach named Dave Serrano who was one of my favorite people to deal with when I covered college baseball as long as I did. So when I saw your name when you were still over at Clovis, that name, I was like, hey, that's a good sports name right there.
Yes, sir.
We're going to talk a lot about Friendship, Midland High, and then Midland Legacy, but we were talking a little bit. You've got a rich football background. You played for one of the most colorful guys, not in West Texas, but in eastern New Mexico, Eric Roanhouse, who folks out here know because Clovis used to come up when you were at Clovis. You played, I think, my first year with my website, I know you played Monterey,
Yeah.
and I think Lubbock Cooper
And Coronado both when
so
Coach Parr was here. Yes, sir.
Yeah, you didn't shy away.
No, that's something that Coach Roanhouse taught us early on. He would always play some Amarillo schools or, every once in a while Lubbock school, and always would get us ready for district play. And so that was kind of our goal, try to get our kids better and tougher and faster and see some really good teams when we came this way for sure.
And it worked because you guys won a lot of games.
Yes,
How many
sir.
state championships did he win?
Oh, I believe he won 13 and was in 19. No, he won 10 and was in 19.
So I'll pull back the curtain here a little bit. I spent some time in Las Cruces and in Farmington.
Yeah.
So I got to know the New Mexico landscape a little bit. The guy that was at Mayfield in Las Cruces for years.
Jim Bradley, yes, sir.
I know there were some battles there for years with those guys.
There was.
Then Artesia, of course, has that rich history, and there's a lot of connections between Artesia, Lubbock, and West Texas when you talk about Butch Henderson, Cooper Henderson, Dwight Butler, Mike Levy. I know there's some more guys I'm missing, but there's a lot of connectivity
There
when you
is.
start talking about.
Absolutely.
You came to Friendship 4 years ago?
3
years ago.
Sir.
And you walked into a pretty good situation over here as well.
You're exactly right. Very, very lucky.
Maybe I'll have to mention to Jay that things kind of took off when you got here, so you must have brought in some mojo with you.
I just try not to get a punt blocked.
There you go. Well, I don't.
And we don't punt very much. So
No, your
that
punters.
helps.
In fact, I think Drew was a little bit confused what to do the other night. He's like, "What you want me to do? What?"
Yeah.
Now he knows how to kick.
Yeah, he does.
You deserve a tip of the cap for that because that kid, Cub Patton, gets a lot of attention, deservedly so, from Lubbock
Yes, he
Cooper. He
does.
may be the best kicker in the state right now.
He's a good one. For
Drew
sure.
Cox is not very far behind.
No, and he works on his craft, and he's a good one to be around. Great, awesome kid, awesome family, and very lucky to get to spend some time with kids like that.
No doubt. So I'm a Kansas City Chiefs fan, and I've been spoiled by the kickers they've had for years, but especially right now with Harrison Butker. And when I watch Cub or Drew Cox go out there, you never want to say a kid's automatic,
right?
Then they start thinking they're automatic.
Yeah.
But you guys on extra points, if it's a clean snap, and something I need to talk to Jay about, I thought you guys recovered well the other day after having one bad snap. Everything else was clean the rest of the night, and that's sometimes a high school kid
gets it in his
punter
head.
or the snapper and the holder that starts to. But your guys just, it's kind of like watching Holden at quarterback. He threw a pick and then just kept chipping away.
Yeah,
so
that's right. Yes, sir.
You also coach the running backs, who are probably the other least heralded group on that offense in particular. But huge night for Jordan the other night. Your other guys contributed as well, but Jordan out of the backfield, first of all, he scores 2 touchdowns, so that's big. Mm-hmm. But catching the ball, that's got to be a running back at Friendship is. I was a tight end in high school, so that in a running offense. Mm-hmm. So it's a little bit of the same theory, like we're going to throw the ball a lot. I'll do my part here, but it doesn't seem like your running backs get bored.
No. They've got to be on point every play, whether it's helping our offensive line with pass blocking or Sometimes it's clearing out a space for a receiver to get the ball, one of our guys to get the ball, and if they don't cover that receiver, which they try really hard to sometimes, and they still can't. But as our running backs go out for a pass, they've always got to be ready for it because Holden is quick triggered and will get it to him quick. So
and he doesn't hold still. He moves around and he's going to find somebody to do something. And I thought Jordan the other night was big a couple of times in the flat because that's when you've got to have that guy available. He made sure he was available.
Yes, yeah, and he was. He's got to do a very good job of finding space once he steps up and there's not somebody coming that he's assigned to block. Got to know exactly where to go because some of the things we do offensively with our passing game, if he doesn't do it right, he'll be in the way of somebody else.
That's something I learned covering college football as long as I did, that there's always the hash marks always intrigue me, that offensive coordinators want their guys a certain spot on the field according to hash marks.
Yes, sir. And Coach Northcutt does an unbelievable job with that, spacing kids out and finding grass, and just learn tons from the guys that I'm around every day.
I haven't told him he's an evil genius. Yes, I used to tell Seth Parr he was an evil genius.
Yeah.
They're a little bit different. It's Plainview guys, but they're different personalities. Bryce, come on in. We're on TV, but people won't care when they see a good-looking guy walk in. That's good television. So how are you doing, buddy?
Good, how are you?
You're going to grab the mic, hold it by its stem. You talk right into this one here. Okay. This is Bryce Garza, senior cornerback for Friendship, who we've talked a few times about your defense's ability to bend, almost break, and then not. And that was a big part of the other night. We're coming up on a break, so we're going to come back to that. But that last week I thought was a very typical performance for the defense against a really good offense. So you guys got the win. We talked a lot about Clovis before you got here, so I forgot to mention the score. 48-47 against Midland High last week. That was the District 2 6A opener for Friendship, so gets them off on the right foot. They hit the road for Midland Legacy this week, 7 p.m. Friday from Astound Broadband Stadium. That's on Double T 97.3 FM. Pregame at 6:30 with Keith Patrick and the guys. We'll be back to talk more about the win against Midland, the road trip to Midland Legacy, and Bryce Garza is going to talk about the defense a little bit because we spent a lot of time talking offense.
Bringing you the latest news from Friendship Athletics. This is the Tiger Fan Zone podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Welcome back to the Tiger Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score. I am Randy Rosetta. We have three people up here now, if you missed it right at the end there. Bryce Garza, Friendship Seniors, join us, and Cal Fullerton, special teams coach, running backs coach for the Tigers. Bryce, I mentioned to you, we talked this summer, you and Maverick, about some of the ways the defense has changed. We talked about you two guys are two of the cornerstones over there. You've gotten more athletic, a little bit faster, maybe a little bit smaller than in previous years. But you knew that you were going to have to play Midland High. They're on your schedule. You weren't going to avoid them. But you guys know every year with that offense, they're going to do things a certain way. You have to be disciplined. You have to be – well, they ran it really well against you guys for 45 minutes, 46 minutes. Did some damage, and then when you guys had to make plays, you found a way. Kind of take me through that last sequence where you had 3 negative plays in a row and then held on 4th down to get them off the field.
Well, I think that just kind of shows what kind of team we are. We definitely could have done a lot better the first half, first quarters of the game. But when it comes down to it, I feel like we throw the final punches at the end of the game and we don't give up. And, we've had a couple close games this year, and I feel like our team we don't get scared when it comes to having to make the last play. And I feel like our team trusts each other to come in and finish the game, and I feel like that's what we come and do every game. And I really appreciate our team for looking on the bright side of things and keeping our energy up, because I know when big plays happen, we tend to I guess people tend to put their heads down and get upset, but not with our team. Our side, we say there's 4 sides of the ball. There's offense, defense, special teams, and sideline. So I feel like that definitely helped all game, and I just trusted my team through the very end, and we pulled it out.
So when I talked to Coach Northcutt the other day, we sort of figured it out together. I think he blocked some of these out. You guys played 3 games that were decided by either a point or 2 last year, and you've played 3 of them this year. So that's 6 games in the last 18 where it literally went down right to the very wire, and you guys have won 5 of those. That'll put some – if you don't have hair on your chest, that'll put some hair on your chest.
Sir.
That'll make you guys tough, and it pays off when you get into games like last week.
Sir.
Cal, now Clovis football is very good. New Mexico higher level football is very good. When you got over here, though, and you started coaching guys to get ready for District 2 6A games in particular, did it catch your attention just how many athletes are on the field for all 6 of those teams?
Absolutely. Coach Northcutt and Coach Holt caught me one time my first year over here. The week we were fixing, or the Friday we were going to play Midland Legacy, my first year when I was here with those guys, and I was just standing at about midfield watching those guys warm up and was just kind of in awe, One, Midland Lee, old school Lee,
right.
And you read about them, you hear about them, the district, not just them, but the district all the time, and to actually be involved in a game like that and seeing those guys warm up, but seeing the size and the way those kids looked and the way they warmed up, it was pretty eye-opening for sure.
It's for years was called the Little Southwest Conference.
Absolutely. And then when the ball's kicked and the speed for us and the speed for them, it's unmatched. It really is.
And Jay and I have talked about it. It took a little while for Friendship guys to younger. Bryce was probably a little bitty at that point, for them to get over that, because at that point those guys, either them or their dads and certainly their grandpas, they knew about the history and tradition. And you've got to step up. You've got to match that intensity, that speed, that everything. You can only do so much to match size.
Yeah.
I mean, God's only going to give you so much. So, but that's every sport. I've talked to Paul Page about how it took a while to kind of figure that out. Bryce, when you get out there against these district teams now, I would imagine there's a sense that, hey, Friendship belongs. Friendship is right here with these guys now.
I definitely think we belong where we are, I feel like we're a great competitive team, and when all cylinders are firing, I feel like we're a very hard team to beat. And, I've never felt a sense of non-belonging because I trust in my team, and I believe that we can do a lot of things this year, and but we just got to stay consistent and treat every game like we got to treat every game like it's our last, and we got to try and win everything that we can, and just keep good attitude throughout the season.
Well, we're getting finish lines creeping up for you older guys, so we'll talk more about Midland Legacy, the next opponent on Friendship's schedule. That is Friday night, 7 p.m. at Astound Broadband Stadium on Double T 97.3 FM. We'll be back on 100.7 The Score with the Tiger Fan Zone right after this break.
Breaking down Friendship sports. This is the Tigers Fan Zone podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Welcome back to the Tiger Fan Zone for one more segment before we welcome in our friends from Lubbock Cooper. Midland Legacy this week, guys. It's always an impactful game. Cal talked about, and Jay mentioned this the other day, the Rebels, of all the teams in the district, the Rebels passed the get off the bus test better than anybody else. I think that's fair to say. I don't know what they feed those guys at Midland Legacy, but they're taking them to the Golden Corral or something, and they're getting their money's worth. They are always big, they're always physical, and they're fun. They play fundamentally well. Now, I don't know if coaches wanted you guys to look at their record this year because they're 2-4. I may have just got in trouble with Jay Northcutt there. That doesn't look great when you look at it. Do you pay any attention to that, or you just know that Midland Legacy is going to be the same Midland Legacy you guys are used to year in and year out?
I think we're going to take every game this year. Rather, we don't really care about the records. We're going to treat every game like this is one of the best opponents we're going to go against, and we're going to prepare for that. And I feel like when you don't look at it like that, you seem to get on your back heels, and nothing's going to be unexpected for us. We're going to prepare like we need to prepare each week.
For both you guys, not just last week, but every district game seems like it comes down to 3 or 4 plays somewhere along the. Jay said that he had told you guys to expect that last week. Cal, do you want guys, whatever guys you're coaching at whatever position, you kind of want that in their mindset that every game is going to be just back and forth dogfight just because there's so much talent out there?
Absolutely. You made a good point earlier about 6 games or 8 games out of the last 16 have been decided by 1 or 2 points for Friendship, and it's something I think our kids strive off of. We're going to be the team that makes the play at the end to win the football game, whether it's offense, defense, special teams, or like he said, sideline keeping us up. Coach is always, even keeled, and no matter what's going on. So it hats off to our kids, the way they finish every game. That's something that we harp on all week in practice, whether it's a individual drill, whether it's a group drill, whether it's a team drill, is the finish of that drill. And that's it helps us. It really does.
Now he's talking about Coach Northcutt being even keeled. You Coach Roboto, is he as even keeled, Bryce, when you're out there, when he's getting you guys fired up on the sideline?
Yeah, he's definitely a character out there.
A little bit more fiery, I'm going to guess. Fair to say?
Yes, sir.
Hey, I meant no panic.
Okay.
No panic. I didn't say not fiery.
No, he's we love Coach Roboto. He does a great job preparing us each week by week, and definitely when we need some motivation, he's always there for us. And no panic. He always says, if I'm panicking, then you should panic there, but he never panics. So.
No, he looks. I've told Jay that he looks like an old school TV detective. I mean, he's got that old school. He drives the old car. I mean, when he talks, you got to listen.
Yeah, you better.
Now, Cal, did you have any connection to him before you got to Friendship?
I did. He was at Eastern New Mexico when I was in high school. Knew my granddad very well, who coached at Eastern a long time ago. Was always still around the program and stuff. And so, yeah, I did. I knew Coach Roboto pretty well. He's
like the godfather of coaches out here because Chip Darden's out there. Chip has a connection to him. Everybody's got a connection to him somehow or another. All you got to do is say his name, and you get that reaction right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, the mutton chops, those are like top-notch. Do you still have the mutton chops? I haven't seen them in a couple weeks.
I don't think he does.
Did you get rid of them?
Yes, sir.
Well, that's a little bit disappointing. I'm going to have to ask him about that. We'll get back to football here. This happens once in a while. We steer off course a little bit. For both you guys, what challenge does Midland Legacy face? They're 2-4, as I mentioned, but that's a very misleading 2-4. They played just a bear of a non-conference schedule, non-district schedule. So, Cal, what do you have to have guys, or what do your guys have to do this week?
Like you said, if you do look at their schedule or you do look at their record, you better look at who they played.
Yep.
Because I would be willing to bet that there's not a team in this area for sure, and probably in the state of Texas, that's played the schedule that they have. And you know what? They've been in most of those games. They beat a great Abilene High team, beat a much better San Angelo team last week, and have played some top-ranked Texas teams down to the wire as well, and been in football games. So, our kids are going to have to take every play and have their head in it. Before the game, during warm-up. During meetings, things like that. During national anthem, there's not one time that we're able to steer off away from what our focus has got to be, because it's that important.
You guys have been in those games. I'll give the number again: 6 games in the last 18 decided by a point or two. Friendship takes that on the road with them. Midland Legacy, Friday, 7 p.m. on Double T 97.3 FM. This is the High School Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score.